Hi, dyslexic genius here, Brett Hurt. What I'm going to talk about is the assembly of the repeat mechanism, and these are all the parts. So let's look at the extremely hard to find 172 panhead screw that fits into the collar here. When you do a restoration, you need to do research or ask online what screw these are and maybe what size they are, but I checked it when I got it out and it was a 172, and I came up with one of those for this. You have this gear, you have that little piece here that goes into this, which lifts the carriage, and then we have this bearing. And we're going to talk about this end bearing first because that's the last piece you're going to put in. What I've done is I've flex toned this because the bearing wouldn't slide back and forth smoothly, and I've polished it all out. The bearing has two sides. It has a flat side that runs to the inside when the shaft hits it like this. When I pulled it apart, this bearing was in backwards because the oil hole did not line up with the casting. And we have the chamfered end like an Edison Triumph on their bearings. You want to line up the set screw in the flat, because this bearing only goes in one direction, like that. Now you're going to slide that in, and I take a little bit of needle nose pliers, these tweezers, and there. I stick it in and I hit the bearing hole, and then when I lift it up, you can see the bearing move. See how this moves up and down? Well, you're going to push this out so it clears the casting. Then you'll tighten this set screw because you don't want the end of the shaft running on your castings. And that's how you do this. And this will be the last part you do. Now the lift lever mechanism has this piece here, which has that little bump in it, which rides into the threads. So you're going to put this with the bump up into the shaft in this slot. This will fit in here just like that. And now what you need to do is practice at home, because I'll show you here in a minute. You're going to take the shaft and it's going to connect in there and it screws on like that. And after you get it on a few turns, you want to tighten down the set screw. And then you'll do this adjustment with it. When I took this apart, I showed you the previous video, it was on the lathe, it wouldn't unscrew. So I thought, okay, I can get it to wiggle, and then I popped it off without bending anything. And I would practice threading this before you start to assembly. And the other thing I would do would be, wherever you're working, I would sweep the floor real clean. I would lay a t-shirt down, an old t-shirt, because if that goes flying, extremely hard to find. So what you will do is you will take the shaft and it'll slide through this hole like that. You will put the gear drive with this part here toward the right, so it looks like that. You'll put the wonderful collar on in the back. And then you will slide everything this way. Now, what you can do is you'll set all this up together with a pin out. You can set this up here like that and then drop it in and screw it together. You'll put the piece in. Making sure that it goes, when you put it in, it has a little lip here at the end, and that goes to this side with the pin that picks up the carriage. Let's stick this in. And you will set this up here like that. It fell out. There, it's on. Got that in. Tighten down the set screw. And that's all there is to it. Now we will leave the gear train and this right here. We will leave this loose because we need that loose, and we're going to leave this part loose. We're going to come in, tighten down the wonderful little 172, and we should have just a little play. Move that over. And it's spinning. Now what you will do, all this is loose. This piece is loose. We have to constantly look for that little piece right there that's stuck in, because now we're moving it to put it onto the machine. So now we will take this to the home. We will put the carriage back gently. We will bring this in. Line up the holes, and now we will put the 2 screws in, line up this, bolt everything in, and then we will tighten this. And that's all there is to it. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's my tip for the day.